Folks, we have a problem in the Zoroastrian community, and that problem is materialism. Unfortunately, Zoroaster himself, we don't know his views regarding materialism. I shouldn't say that, we barely know his views regarding materialism. His words, some poems in Gatha don't deal with materialism, and Avesta, which is basically written by Mubeds, doesn't deal with materialism either. Here's the thing, folks. We can go two ways with this. Either we can continue ignoring the problem and continue with this in this condition as we have been doing, reading a book that none of us understand what it says, which is Avesta. Very few of us understand what it says, and not having any guidance from the leaders of Zoroastrian community regarding today's problems, today's issues that come up. This has been the situation up to now. We've been following this religion that doesn't deal with current issues, current social issues, and we're just following some basic good thoughts, good words, good deeds, or good basics. But nevertheless, they're basic. And unfortunately, a lot of it is open to interpretation. I will never forget that I had this Zoroastrian acquaintance that he basically said, "Oh, the good words doesn't apply in case of business. The good thoughts doesn't apply in case of business." What does it apply to? If it doesn't apply to business, we spend most of our life working, trying to make an income to have a more comfortable life. If good words and good thoughts and good deeds doesn't apply in business, then apparently it doesn't apply to 80% of life, 60% of life, 70% of life. Depends on how many hours you guys, each one of us, put in their work or business. So this misunderstanding, misperception, wrong perception of good words, good thought, good deeds, apparently each one of us can come up with their own interpretation of this simple basic concept. So because the human mind is so flexible, and that causes morality to become very flexible, that's why the leaders of the group, the tribe, whatever you want to call yourself, have to step in and actually come up with new solutions for new issues. One of these issues that keeps coming up and up and up and up all over and is causing chaos in the Zoroastrian community is the issue of materialism. And I have yet to come across a popular Zoroastrian leader talking about materialism and persuading Zoroastrians to stop this shit. Because frankly, it's screwing up everything. A lot of Zoroastrians, first of all, Zoroastrians don't feel they need to give part of their income to the Zoroastrian community, to the Zoroastrian Association. It's because nobody demands of them, and they feel if as long as nobody asks them, they'd rather keep the money. Well, that's wrong. The Zoroastrian Association has to start asking for money. 10% of every individual's income, every family's income, 10% of their income should go to the Zoroastrian Association. Period. And this by itself promotes spending. This by itself prevents greed, teaches against greed. When the Zoroastrian Association demands that every Zoroastrian and every Zoroastrian family give 10% of their monthly income or 10% of their yearly income to the Zoroastrian Association of their choice, this promotes philanthropy. This promotes giving. And what you need to do is actually promote giving, because Zoroastrian people have grown used to accumulating more and more and more and more. They're fucking so used to accumulating that many of them just don't want to even spend money on their own kids. They don't want to spend money on themselves. They don't want to spend money on their kids. Sort of like, no. I want to, accumulate. I want to put it under my mattress and sleep over it. And the money that's not used and accumulated in this fashion usually becomes a target for the majority of your society. The Muslims, the Christian, doesn't matter whatever the fuck the majority of the society is. When a section of the society, a small group of the society, doesn't spend money and prefers accumulating and promotes accumulating money rather than spending it, even on themselves and their children and their family, they become a target. You have this section of society who accumulates, and everybody knows they accumulate, and they have this and that, and the word gets around, and suddenly you become a target. Target for what? Target for, if things get hot, the other members of the society maybe decide to come and cut your head off and take your money, or force you to hand over your money, the money that you have accumulated by not spending on yourself and your kids. Another target of little Muslim cocksucking, poor Muslim cocksuckers and poor Christian cocksuckers who basically say, hey, here's this money, and this motherfucker, this Zoroastrian guy, he has been accumulating all this money all this life, and he's not spending all this money. Let me go fuck his daughter or fuck his son and get married or have kids with him, and then start pulling the money under myself, spend his money on myself and my Muslim kids. That's how you become a target. Here's the thing, have you noticed that Zoroastrian girls of poor families are not really in high demand for Muslim boys? Muslim boys don't just hang on to the Zoroastrian girls from poor families. Muslim girls don't jump on Zoroastrian guys from poor backgrounds. Why? Because that's what their interests them. What interests them is the money. It's not the person. It's not the individual. It's the money behind the individual. It's the money in the family that has been accumulated in the family by the patriarch of the family, usually, because it's not in his tradition to spend money on himself or his children. So the money accumulates and accumulates, many generations, accumulates until a Muslim comes by and says, hey, I like to get my hand on that money. Let me get my hand on their daughter first, then I can get my hand on the money. That's how you make yourself a target. But here's another scenario. Zoroastrian family make money and give 10% of their money to the Zoroastrian Association of their locality. The Zoroastrian Association becomes very wealthy, very powerful. What does that do? One, protects the Zoroastrian Association that is very wealthy and powerful, protects the Zoroastrian community as far as legislature is concerned, courts, laws, legal concerns, municipality concerns, building. You see what I'm saying? When the Zoroastrian Association is powerful, is rich, as a result powerful, it can protect all the Zoroastrian community. But one Zoroastrian family is powerful, is rich and powerful, that Zoroastrian family's children becomes a target. The Zoroastrian family itself becomes a target of the government, let's say the government of Iran. He said the government sees the government of Iran, for example, sees such and such and such Zoroastrian family is extremely rich and powerful. They say, okay, where did you got it from? There is this thing in Iran which they used to, say it a lot at the beginning of the revolution. They say, "Az koja avardi?" Where did you get it from? Hand it over. Where did you get it from is basically they're trying to say you didn't earn this, so hand it back over to the government, the Muslim government of Iran. This is what happened at the Islamic Revolution. This happens over and over in every revolution. Every time the things in the society gets heated up, they first go for the minorities, especially the minorities like us and the Jews, who through fear for their life have always accumulated money and wealth in order to, spend it to buy their life with at a later point, at a later date, whenever it's necessary. So in order to prevent becoming a target for Zoroastrian families, in order to prevent you becoming a target of your government or your society, so they would extract money out of you, or in order for your children to become targets of gold diggers, those people who are, from the majority Muslim surrounding, looking for money. Where are they looking for money? They're looking to marry into money. Who do you marry? Marry a fucking Zoroastrian whose father, whose mother has been accumulating money all their life, haven't spent money. Let's go fuck the girl and get our hand on that money, on that Zoroastrian family's money. And this happens over and over and over and over. And you motherfuckers don't learn your lesson. Stop accumulating money for personal gain. Stop accumulating money in the family. Start giving money to the Zoroastrian community, Zoroastrian Association. Zoroastrian Association, if it's rich and as a result powerful, it can protect you. But if your family is rich, you are going to become a target. So, as a result, this materialism is not a solution, it's the problem. The materialism that Zoroastrians are following, accumulation of more and more wealth, just out of fear. Where does this accumulation, this need for accumulation come from? It comes from fear of if something happens, I need to be liquid. I need to be able to put my hands on some funds to get away from the heated situation, from this bad situation. Yes, that is to a certain degree, it's logical. But more important is that if your organization is powerful enough that can protect you, if the Zoroastrian Association is powerful enough, when things get heated up, that is the system that can protect you. Much better than you can protect yourself, or much easier than running away. So this problem of Zoroastrian materialism has to be addressed. Zoroastrians need to stop with this need for accumulation, this fear. And the best way to deal with this matter is to promote giving. First of all, promote giving to the Zoroastrian Association, giving to the entity that represents Zoroastrians. Promote giving to the entity that represents Zoroastrians, and by itself promotes between Zoroastrian, promotes spending money, taking money out of their pocket and giving it to the Zoroastrian Association, to the entity that represents them, that can represent them, that can protect them, and consequently it might actually, promotes them actually taking money out and spending on themselves and their children, instead of accumulating it and becoming a target for a fucking Muslim guy or a Christian guy because of the family's wealth. So here's the thing. On the other hand, you see that materialism have been so much promoted in the Zoroastrian community that left and right, I mean, like 80% of the time, 90% of the time, you see there is disagreements and fights within Zoroastrian families, between brothers and sisters, over money. Why is that? That is precisely because we are valuing material over blood. When there is a fight between brothers and sisters over distribution of the family wealth, whatever family has accumulated through the years, when there is a disagreement and there is a fight, sometimes even multi-generational fight, depending on the size of the loot, that is a problem. That is the problem. That means the people of this family have not really understood what's going on, have got their paradigm is wrong. They are valuing money over blood, material good over blood. It's just stupid, but they don't realize it. I mean, the simplest way to put this, how stupid this is, if you need a bone marrow transplant, doesn't matter how much money you have, you need to find a match, and fast. There is a much higher chance of one of your family members having the same bone marrow, being a match to you, then you can find somebody and pay them enough so they would go to a surgery and give some of their bone marrow to you. Just as simple as that. If you need a kidney, if you need a liver, just that by itself should prove that blood is more important than money. But many, their upbringing, the whole paradigm that they have been brought up is wrong. So now they were kids. They have been brought up on the wrong pretenses, in the wrong value system. They have been brought up with the wrong value system, and now that they're grown up, they're following what they have been taught. Whatever they have been taught, grown-ups follow whatever they have been taught as children. And one of the main things between Zoroastrians, you see 80% of the time, they're fighting over money. Grown-up men, women, cannot sit down, logically distribute the funds, whatever has remained. They're always trying to, undermine each other and, trying to get more for themselves and less for the other, because that's what they've been taught. Material is important. Money is important. Matter is important. Blood is not. Fuck. That's absolutely wrong. It's wrong in every sense of it. From medically it's wrong to socially it's wrong. You as much as being with your family, being with your blood reduces the stress, not being with your blood and having more stuff, more material to worry about increases your stress. So basically people who think like this are shooting themselves in the foot, and they're not realizing it. It's sort of like they're leaving what is good and running towards what is not so good, what seems to be good, because they have been told over and over and over again as children. This is wrong. This is wrong. Leave the money, give the money to the Zoroastrian Association, and then hopefully this will encourage you to spend the money on yourself and your spouse and your children. Maybe this results in two goods comes out of this. One is that there's less chance of you becoming a target of Muslim gold diggers to come into your family for the sake of the money, because your association is rich. Zoroastrian Association is rich. You're average. You don't become a target. Do not make yourself a target for the Muslim gold digger. Simple. And then it promotes spending money. Once you start giving to Zoroastrian Association 10% of your income, then you'll see that, okay, it's not so bad spending money, giving money, it's not so bad. Maybe you start giving some money to your kids to spend, spending some money on yourself and your spouse, and stop accumulating money. In fact, if the historic reason of accumulating money was simple. I accumulate money so if things get hot, I can buy my life and my family's life and run away. You know, give money and run when things get hot. But in today's age, this is not happening. The money can only do so much for you. You see what I'm saying? In the age of you being an Iranian, for example, having to get a visa from whatever the country you're going, and Iranian government has to agree with your exit. This is not happening. So you shouldn't be worried about that and accumulating more and more and more in order to, you know, have a chance of saving your life. That's not happening. Give that money to the Zoroastrian Association and let the Zoroastrian Association protect you. Give this responsibility to the Zoroastrian Association to protect you, be it by their lobbying, the state legislature, the national legislature, whatever they need to do, they will, once they have the funds available to them, then they will be in a position to spend that money to buy political power to protect the Zoroastrian community. Stop this madness of materialism and accumulation of more, and which will result into these infighting in families just because they all want more. Somehow, as children, they have been told that more is better. Brother is not good, sister is not good, forget all of that. Money is good. Get more money. What the fuck is this?